Hi, everyone. Welcome to our Sunday gathering for Sk'aliCh'elh-tenaut. Happy Father's Day to all of you who are fathers, Noah father, father. Happy Father's Day to you. What a day we have. We're doing a lot of updates today, you guys. So there's going to be some updates on the dams, updates on actions, updates on proclamations that are being signed. For the rights of the Southern Resident Killer Whales. Lots to update. So bear with us today. There's going to be a lot of information, but I really appreciate all of you being with us here today. Let's do some very fast hellos, and then we'll get ourselves centered, if that's okay. Just want to check in. Christina, how are you?
I'm great. Happy to be here. Thank you very much. Happy Father's Day. Love you all.
Casey and Stephanie?
Yeah, we're great too. Am I speaking for you?
Yeah.
Happy Father's Day to all of the fathers out there. And yeah, happy to be here.
Awesome. Alejandro?
I'm so happy to be here. Happy Father's Day to everyone. And don't forget to buy a tumbler. Thank you so much.
You're so awesome. Elliot, how are you?
He's muted and he's in his car again.
Oh, driving down the highway.
Calling from the highway.
How are you, Elliot?
Nope, he's still muted.
It doesn't show muted, so we're having a volume issue. Oh, and there he'll probably come back. Howard, how's it going?
I hope he's still on the road. Hi, everybody. I'm fine.
Thanks
Happy to be here.
Yay, Deborah.
Hello, heart full of love and gratitude. Just so happy to be able to be here and rearrange chores to hang out with y'all.
Deb Cruz, how's it going?
It is.
It is. Dr. Kriss, how are you?
I'm excellent. Thank you. And happy Father's Day to everybody, and happy Father's Day to our Sky Father.
Yes, thanks for being here with us today. We really, really appreciate it. To get ourselves centered today, I want to just listen to the song by Shirley Bob. It's entitled Look at Me. And this is something that, a song that she sang to and with Sk'aliCh'elh-tenaut. And it's just important to remember why we're gathered here every week and who Sk'aliCh'elh-tenaut really is. So if you feel comfortable, you can close your eyes. You don't have to, but let's just take this moment to listen to the song and get ourselves grounded. Good? All right.
Sk'aliCh'elh-tenaut. Needless chilling and tear. Needless chilling and tear.
All right. Thank you. That's one very quick way to get ourselves grounded. Elliot, let's see if we can check in with you real quick. Are you there now?
I think I'm here. Can you
You
guys hear
are.
me?
We hear you now. Thanks for
Technical
being with
difficulty.
us.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me. Good, happy Father's Day to everybody. Great to see you all again, and everybody out there. Yeah.
All right, here we go. Well, we have a very special guest with us today, and Dr. Kriss was with us in December as a special guest. But just to remind you guys, Kriss Kevorkian is a thanatologist specializing in biocentric thanatology. She holds a doctoral degree in thanatology, the study science of death, dying, and grief. She combined her passion for thanatology with her love of whales and the environment through her research on environmental grief and ecological grief. Dr. Kevorkian is founder of Legal Rights for the Salish Sea, an organization educating communities and stakeholders to recognize the inherent rights of the Southern Resident Orcas and the Salish Sea, and is a member of the steering committee of the Meaningful Movies Project in her community. Dr. Kevorkian has taught in the US and in the UK and is currently teaching as an adjunct professor at Antioch University in Los Angeles. So, Dr. Kevorkian, welcome to our show.
Thank you for having me again. It's such a pleasure to speak with all of you.
So grateful for you. Last time we had you on, Deb Cruz had sent me a link to what you were up to the night before TokiTV, and I think you and I were messaging at like midnight in December, and then all of you were on the show, so that was really, really great. Similar this time, gave you a little more notice this time, but thank you for being so gracious and accepting our invitation. And yeah, I want to hear what you've been up to since December, and if you don't mind to give folks just a background of what we're talking about.
Yeah, if you don't mind, I'd like to give sort of a Reader's Digest version of who I am and how I came to this.
Absolutely.
But first, I want to do a nature acknowledgement, if that's okay. We do land acknowledgements, and I'm coming to you from Gig Harbor, Washington, which is on the ancestral lands of the Puyallup and Coast Salish people. And nature was here before us, gave birth to all that we know and love, and will endure long after this presentation has turned to dust. We affirm our shared responsibility to nature. We commit ourselves to caring for nature and defending nature from harm, and we strive to honor nature with our lives and actions. Clearly, all of you have been doing that for years, so thank you for that. I actually got into this realm. I fell in love with whales on a whale watching trip when I was in 7th grade. And from then on have been doing what I can. I started working or volunteering at the American Cetacean Society when I was 16 in San Pedro, California, and thought that I was going to be a whale biologist, planned on studying beluga whales. I had everything planned out. And I think the universe just kind of laughed and said, yeah, that's not how it works. So I ended up getting into social work and end of life care, death and dying, and was working with some hospice patients who weren't aware of the fact that they were dying when I came out to visit them, and thought, well, something needs to change. Doctors need to learn how to communicate with their patients better and tell them what's going on. And so I chose to pursue a doctoral degree in thanatology, hoping to educate medical students. At the same time, I don't know if any of you remember Dr. Jack Kevorkian. He was a physician-assisted suicide doctor. He was in full swing, and everybody thought we were related and wouldn't have anything to do with me. So I decided just to focus on whales again, and someone asked me to contribute something new to the field. And I was living in Humboldt County at the time and had had enough of seeing logging trucks go by, because every time I saw these huge, incredible, majestic trees on the back of a logging truck, it just made me sick with grief. And that continued to grow, and I focused my doctoral research on the Southern Resident Orcas, asking scientists how they were coping with the decline of the species. And this was back in 2001. And so things haven't gotten much better, and that's how I came to be here. But one of the things that came out of this is in 2016, a group of us here in Gig Harbor were connected through some activity and advocacy we were doing, supporting a particular presidential candidate who wasn't able to run after all. And I thought, you know what, let's work on rights of nature. We had heard about it through the Community Environmental Legal Defense Fund and had a couple workshops. And at one workshop we had hosted on the rights of nature, Michelle Bender from the Earth Law Center was able to attend. And so at that time, we started in 2018, started working with Michelle. Also that year, as we all know, TokiTV lost her calf. We had been focusing on helping people understand and recognize the rights of the Salish Sea, but people struggled to connect with the sea. And most people here didn't know what the Salish Sea was. We refer to the Salish Sea as Puget Sound here. And so people struggled with, how do we connect with the sea? So when TokiTV lost her calf, I was receiving emails from people around the world saying, you have to do something. And we thought, you know what, let's focus on the Southern residents. People relate to the Southern residents more. And so that's what we've been doing since 2018. But either way we look at it, whether we're focusing on the Salish Sea or the Southern residents, they both have to be healthy. The Salish Sea has to be healthy in order for the Southern residents to thrive. So it kind of goes hand in hand. But we were doing pretty well, getting some workshops going. Oh, Michelle's on. And she's been wonderful. Got workshops, got community education going, had some legislative roundtables. We were cooking, and then the pandemic hit. And like everything, we kind of slowed down. And so we were able to kind of reconnect, but not as strongly as we were prior to the pandemic. And then last year, I just kind of got fed up. I don't want to keep doing this. I keep saying to myself, I've been working on getting whales saved most all of my life, and why aren't they saved yet? This is ridiculous. So on a Sunday, I blasted a zillion emails to city council members and asked them to support a proclamation or resolution. And I heard back from just a few. And then I thought to, one thing that I've learned in all of my 59 years of existence on this planet is that it always falls back to who you know. And so I knew some people who knew people who knew people who knew people on a city council. And that's how Port Townsend came to be. So in December, I reached out to some folks and asked if they knew city council members or anybody in Port Townsend who would be interested in helping support this proclamation, recognizing the inherent rights of the Southern residents. Thankfully, they did, and the mayor was on board, and we were able to get Port Townsend, and it was wonderful. It was so exciting. And then I live in Gig Harbor and have a friend on the city council, and she said, "I'm taking this to our mayor," and went directly to the mayor, and the mayor signed the proclamation without any discussion with the city council members. And I don't want to get anybody into trouble, but I think that if she had gone to the city council, they probably wouldn't have all supported this. So I'm grateful that we kind of took a little stealth way of getting the proclamation going. And then we were fortunate that the city of Langley on Whidbey Island jumped on board. In fact, the city council member there, Gail, was the first person who actually responded to my email that Sunday. She was the only person who responded. And her response was awesome because she said, "Why wouldn't we do this?" So it was fabulous. And then we went even further, and honest to God, I didn't know how far we could go. But then we got Bainbridge Island, and thanks to Elliot, we got Des Moines. And then we had gotten Jefferson County, which is where Port Townsend is located. And we have San Juan County as well as Pierce County. And Pierce County is where I live. And there were a couple questions that came up that were a bit concerning. But we're going to address those a little bit better now. And then just a couple weeks ago, we got Depot Bay. I apologize to any Oregonians out there if I'm mispronouncing it. But Depot Bay, we got just a couple weeks ago. And we're going to be working on Portland. And I was spending most of my day yesterday working with a student at Cal Poly Humboldt in Arcata to get Arcata on board, and thinking if anybody's going to do it in Northern California, Arcata should be the first city to jump on board. So I'm basically going down the West Coast and trying to hit every city wherever the Southern residents pass on their way to Monterey. We've been getting some support in British Columbia, but the people that we have there to help are really overwhelmed with other issues that they're struggling with. But hopefully we could get some counties, cities, areas there to also support the proclamation. So basically all of this is leading to a few things. One of the things that legislators ask about is how much education do people have on this? Because rights of nature is quite a new paradigm. And simply put, it's recognizing that nature should have similar rights to what we have, rights of personhood. And that's a very simple explanation. In the US, corporations have rights and ships have rights. Most people aren't even aware of that. Why shouldn't nature? I always go back to the pandemic thinking, nature could live without us. We can't live without nature. And right now, I woke up to not having any running water in my house and thinking about the fact that there are places that are incredibly drought stricken. And we so easily take for granted what nature provides for us. Well, what happens when she's not able to provide? Because we've taken and taken and taken. What are we giving back to her? Just things that I've been thinking about. And so the legislators ask about what are we doing to help educate people and what do we really want? And ideally, we're looking to get a statewide bill recognizing the inherent rights of the Southern residents. The proclamations are non-binding. There's no legal attachment there. People hear about rights of nature or rights of anybody and then automatically assume, wait, what does that mean to my rights? What are you taking away from me? And so I look at this, and Howie, I've kind of talked with you about this a little bit, but because I come from a social work background and Howie's got the sociology background, I see all of this as advocating for a marginalized population. I've advocated for BIPOC communities, African Americans, LGBTQ+, older adults, people with disabilities, the unhoused, everybody. And I include nature in that list. And what's interesting is that I get pushback from some people, but the people in human rights work, the lawyers who are at the highest level, are like, Kriss, we never thought to include nature, but you're absolutely right. We need to. We can't live without her. And what's even weirder is the fact that we think we're separate from nature when we ourselves are nature. So I feel like I've been talking too much. I'll take some questions, but that's pretty much what we're working on. And the greatest thing about these proclamations is the fact that we're getting some press. And we got a lot of press with Port Townsend. Thanks to Elliot, we got press with Des Moines, and we've gotten some press with other cities. We got very little in Oregon, which is concerning to me. One thing that I love about the folks in Bellingham with sacredsea.org, they are considering some other ways of getting more press. And I would love it if you could connect with them sometime and have them on. And I was hoping we could all talk today, but it was a little short notice for some. But I think that for Arcata, California, for example, we've already gotten in touch with some media outlets there just yesterday. So I'm hoping that perhaps a press conference might be helpful, and just introducing this concept to people. And what's so cool is that the other night, so it was Thursday that we had a coalition call in the morning, and Deb and Howie were so kind to join us, and Elliot was there as well. And then Thursday night, there was a call with some of the Washington State wildlife commissioners. And personally, they're interested in this concept, but it's trying to educate others. And one thing that we hear a lot is that there are so many voices that are so much louder than ours, that have a lot of money behind them, that get all the appointments, that get all the ears of the decision makers. We need to find a way to get their ears, because they do support this, but they have to find a way to help educate everyone they're working with. So the media attention really helps with all of this. And so I'm grateful for that. We just need more. And once we're able to get more people educated, then I think we're going to have a smoother ride towards a statewide bill. And Michelle's been working on this for a long time. And I just want to make sure, one of the things that concerns me most is that we're losing people at the top. We're losing people who have all the information, whether they move on to different positions or whether they pass away. You know, on Thursday, I had mentioned that we've lost a few people, and I know there are some people who are having severe health issues. And so if you don't mind, I'd love to just take a moment of silence to recognize the fact that, you know, Howie will talk about the loss of Roger Payne, which is huge in the whale world. But there's a couple people, well, one person in particular, Matt Cheney, who was in our dam breaching group. You know, we've been advocating to breach the 4 lower Snake River dams for a while. And Matt had been working with people on this for a long time. Matt had been struggling with ALS for 20 years. And the only way he was able to communicate with us was by typing. And he could only type with his big toe. And Matt was our editor. He helped me with proofreading and editing. And the fact that he could only type with his big toe was tremendous. But it just goes to the courage, the adaptability, and the strength that people have within that we don't often think about or recognize. And we lost him last year. And then we lost Ken. And without Ken, I don't think any of us would really be here. So it's just been tremendous. And so if we could just give just a moment of silence now, if you wouldn't mind. Thank you. Just a moment. Thank you. It's in my work in death and dying, it's just, you know, one of the most wonderful lessons we learn from death and dying and grief is the fact that we can't take things for granted. We can't take beings, we can't take people for granted. We never know when we're going to lose them. And so it's a way to sort of force us to live each day to the fullest and to love and appreciate those that we have around us. And I have this soft little term called griefitude, which is a mashup of grief and gratitude, because it always blows my mind that there's 8 billion plus people on this planet, and we could meet people and beings and others that mean so much to us in our lives that it's painful when they die, when they're gone. And so I just want to acknowledge that. And Howie, maybe you'd want to speak a little bit about Roger.
Oh, sure. Thanks, Chris. You're so clear and vivid and eloquent. It's hard to follow you because you say so much so well. But I would like to just say a little about Roger. I didn't know him personally. I was blessed to be in his presence in different meetings and virtual meetings, and to absorb some of his philosophy and his outlook on nature and the world, and his insistence that we had to do something. And he is best known for his and his wife Katie's discovery of the humpback songs, and of getting that word out. I mean, out to the world and beyond the world, into a intergalactic space voyage, in hopes of connecting with another intelligence and having humpback whales be the voice of the earth, which is a beautiful idea. But the legend has it that it was the song of the humpback whale that really sparked the Save the Whale movement in the late 60s, early 70s. And that is profound, that people could tune into that, and that would just open this world of whale consciousness and communicability and relatedness and creativity. And that brought about such sympathy and empathy, understanding of whales, that it led the prohibition, the ban on whaling around the world, which is just incredible. And I don't want to bring up a difficult, sensitive subject, but Toki talks. Toki does have her songs, her repertoire, her way of communicating that we can all hear. And I would love it if we could hear her more. I know that that is scary to people because it opens up her relating to her family, communicating, and at some point, hopefully rejoining, or at least being able to be in communication with her family. And that seems like a bridge too far for some people, but it really shouldn't be, because it's her essence, it's her consciousness, it's her mind reaching out. And that's what humpbacks did to start the Save the Whale movement. So thank you, Roger. And Roger, of course, was on the board of Friends of Toki. So he was instrumental in what we see today with Toki's progress. So we have grief and gratitude, griefitude indeed, for Roger Payne. Thank you.
Thank you, Howard, for saying that. And I found out after the TokiTV show last week that he had passed, and just had to have this moment. I put a link in there, you guys, if to a Time magazine article, and that was just posted this week and a couple days ago, actually. And I want to read from you just a brief thing, something that Roger said. And he said this just a week before passing. I believe that awe-inspiring life forms like whales can focus human minds on the urgency of ceasing our destruction of the wild world. Many of humanity's most intractable problems are caused by disregarding the voices of the other, including non-humans. Just imagine what would be possible if we understood what animals are saying to each other, what occupies their thoughts, what they love, fear, desire, avoid, hate, are intrigued by, and treasure. If we could communicate with animals, ask them questions and receive answers, no matter how simple those questions and answers might turn out to be, the world might soon be moved enough to at least start the process of halting our runaway destruction of life. And that was by Roger Payne, and I will put that in the comments here in just a little bit, but wanted to include that because you're absolutely right, Howard. It's just absolutely instrumental in Save the Whales and in this conversation with communication, which I know Russell, no, there he is commenting on it, and Russell's deep in that conversation as well. So thank you for that, and I'll turn it back over to you, Dr. Kriss.
I just wanted to mention too a couple things. When I saw people writing in that they love Star Trek 4, and actually I love that movie too. And I remember seeing it the first day it was out, and I'm so excited because I know the punk on the bus. If you remember him, I actually know him. My brother went to high school with him, and we're still in touch. And he's done Muppet movies, and he was just in The Werewolf on Disney Plus. Just a shameless plug there. But Kirk was awesome. If anybody's old enough to remember the group Yes, it was on an alternative rock band. They had an album called Tormato that came out, I guess, in the late 70s. And they had a song on there called Don't Kill the Whales. And I remember hearing it and just being so excited about the fact that, oh my God, somebody's actually speaking up. And I remember the story behind it was that one of the bandmates had heard or read something about the Japanese whaling industry and went into the studio, and they made the song up as they went. And it's so powerful. But just thinking back to Roger Payne, and I remember just learning so much about his work when I first started in 7th grade. And then Jacques Cousteau was my hero and still is, because he's the one who said a million years ago, he said, what's going to destroy human population or human and the planet is overpopulation. And we're definitely seeing a lot of over issues, overpopulation, overfishing, over everything, overconsumption. When will it stop? And I think the one thing that I love so much about the rights of nature movement is how it's helped me learn to evolve and adapt. I see my relationship with nature as seeing everyone as kin, and it goes back to indigenous values. And I think I sort of picked this up from my grandfather, who wasn't an indigenous man, but he was a survivor of the Armenian genocide, and just really instilled upon me the importance of nature, of all that nature provides for us, and how we need to provide for nature, not just taking all the time. So when anybody comes here to my house, which isn't mine, I am the caretaker here. Like when deer come or bear or anybody, the birds are at the bird feeder, and they're going through about a gallon of bird seed a day. I wish I could claim them as dependents on taxes, but they're just a blast, and they're all part of my family. They're not separate. We're all connected, and I just love that whole push from the rights of nature to see that. So I'm just incredibly grateful. And I don't know if Michelle is still on. I wish she had the time to join us. I know she's super busy. But Michelle Bender at Earth Law Center is just miraculous with everything that she's been able to do and push forward. And Deborah Ellers with the North Olympic Orca Pod is just, I don't know how she has the energy to do everything she's doing, because she's everywhere and she's pushing everything. So I'm just grateful to all of them. And of course, Howie. And I love Howie when you said that I was eloquent, because I remember when we did the anniversary, I think it was in 2017 or 2018 of the orca, what I refer to as a kidnapping of the orca. And in Penn Cove, and you spoke about a letter you're actually reciting a letter that one of the residents had, and you said, and then we're going to talk to Kriss about environmental grief. And I was sobbing because of what you had read, and I just couldn't keep up. I'm like, no, wait, hold on. You've got to keep talking for a bit. But I'm just, I think, again, it's just, it all goes back to gratitude for everything we have. And I find that so many people end up getting into this pit of despair instead of realizing there's still so much to be grateful for. And let's be grateful. The whole concept of environmental grief is that it's a grief reaction stemming from the environmental loss of ecosystems caused by natural or human-made events. And it can be daunting, that form of grief. And I tell people with all forms of grief, I counsel them to use the grief that you have, harness it to take action. And that's what I see I'm doing with the rights of nature. I'm taking action. I'm using the environmental grief I feel to take action by being involved in the rights of nature movement, in community with others in this movement, because it's a different concept, but it's one that hopefully will make a change, because having been in this whale realm for so long with nothing really moving, nothing changing after protesting, letter writing, rallies, everything, nothing seems to change long term. We may get some sort of just, pat on the back, like, oh yeah, good job. We'll stop for a moment. And then people get back to their old behaviors. We need to change that. And the best way to do that is by changing laws. And so while I said it's going to be challenging, but at least it's a step forward. So I hope you'll all support that.
So, Kriss, I think it's a good time to tell people how can they get involved in the rights of nature movement with you. I mean, we have some links to put up, but I'm kind of curious because you talk about Deborah Allard. We love Deborah Allard. She's everywhere, and then there's Elliot. Elliot's everywhere too. So I'm hoping we could just hear from Elliot, and maybe give some people ideas like how they can get involved. Like how'd you get involved, Elliot?
Yeah. I really thank you, Kriss, for that beautiful, eloquent talk there. I saw the proclamations going up, and it had a ton of momentum there right around the beginning of the year, December of last year. And then I just said, heck, why not my city too? We're right here on the Salish Sea. So, and I think what we can do, particularly anybody on the West Coast or Washingtonians, get in touch with us, because we want to move up all the way around the Salish Sea into BC area. It would be great, I think, to get proclamations from First Nations too. I talked about this with everybody on the Thursday meeting. If we could get a visual map to show the progress of these proclamations, that's going to be a very powerful instant message to say there's a huge amount of support here for Southern residents and to protect, the Salish Sea nature. And then down the West Coast too, because, all the Chinook salmon, it's all related, Snake River Dam, that goes down into Oregon, top of California. And there's orcas in Monterey Bay. So heck, maybe hit up San Francisco, all the way down to San Diego. That's ground zero for, the anti-orca movement, SeaWorld. And so that'd be pretty powerful if we got San Diego to sign up. That'd be crazy. But yeah, you guys should get in touch with us, because I think Kriss wants to coordinate these approaches instead of everybody just kind of out there on their own. I'm at ElliotLytle at gmail.com. So please email me if you want to get involved in talking to your city council, your county, you want to help out in some way. And then Kriss, I believe, has got legal rights for the Salish Sea Facebook group. I think that's a great way to stay informed so we can all work together. And I also think it's just great. The base of this is us, it's our consciousness is expanding, and it's like water, it seeps out into other people's consciousness, just like the whale song, like Howard was talking about, And we just got to keep bringing that, in our conversations, seeing nature, other beings, orcas, as like us, that they're feeling, thinking, living beings. They're not pieces of property, like somebody said at the Thursday meeting. They don't look at, the land and the sea as just something to exploit, to own, which is kind of the previous. That's what we're coming out of, right? That's what put, the Southern residents in the state they're in now, seeing them as property, something to make money off of. But we're flipping that, and it's a paradigm shift. And I think the real movement comes from us and just speaking that and living that, and then these policies come forward like the proclamations. I believe it'll lead to a statewide um, uh, law, and I think we need to go up into the Canada area too. It's got to be the whole Salish Sea, and seeing that as a biome, a biosanctuary. And I think that's really where things need to go, to declare some type of biosanctuary where the orcas have rights, the whales have rights. They came back. You can see humpbacks out there in the Salish Sea now. They went extinct from there up in in the 90s and stuff. Finally coming back, and the industry has a lot of money, but we got more people. I think most people would want to support something like that, and so it's just up to us to keep putting that out there, working together and building those big support systems to set up something like a biomarine sanctuary that includes the land too. The trees, it's all connected. The rivers that feed the Chinook, breaking down the dams. So that's my 2 bits for how we can all work together.
I love it, Elliot. Thank you. And Elliot's a go-getter. So if you guys aren't sure which couple of steps to take to get going, get in contact with Elliot. He'll transport you there very quickly.
Oh, can I add one? Sorry.
Yeah,
Also,
sure.
the Swims Act, you guys. That's for get the orcas and also cetaceans and whales to a permanent ban on capture, breeding, and we want to get 2 amendments added. You got to release the ones in captivity in a timely manner as sanctuaries get built, and also to add bottlenose dolphins, because they get the worst of the treatment. They're kind of the main one, and so there may come a point where we ask you all to contact your congressmen, congresswomen, and government reps, governors, and stuff like that to support this. It's coming down the line.
Awesome. Thank you, Elliot.
Can I just bounce off of what Elliot was saying?
Mm-hmm.
And just so grateful because Elliot is a go-getter, truly. Thank you. But one thing that we were discussing on our Thursday call was the fact that we really need to be careful and conscious of what we say, because this is such a paradigm shift. If we're not all saying or using the same language, getting the message out, it can turn people off immediately. So there's a lot of misinformation being spread, a lot of fear, again, because people don't want to change and they're concerned as what's going to happen to my rights. So it's important. And we have information on our website, legalrightsforthesalishsea.org. Thank you. And our toolkit has a lot of great information. So please take a look at that. And if you have any questions, feel free to get in touch with me. We definitely need all the help that we can get. It's just making sure that we're all using the same messaging. Otherwise, we're going to lose people. So thank you for that, Elliot.
I'm really glad you said that. I wanted to point out that toolkit because I was going through the links you sent me, and that toolkit is awesome, you guys. And so I'll type it in on my phone so that it comes up as an actual link for you guys on Facebook. But go check out that toolkit. It's very detailed, tells you exactly what to do, the talking points. I mean, I was just flashing a couple of the screenshots from there, but it's an intro. So it has the intro to the campaign, why you're doing it, talking points, who to contact. I mean, it's literally a step-by-step to get involved, and we definitely want more people involved. So please go check that out. Check out the links. We'll keep posting them so that, thank you, Rita, just put that up for us. So if you guys go in and just click on that and do some reading there, it's fabulous what you're up to, and fabulous to all the stuff that you're up to, Elliot. Just really, really appreciate you and appreciate you being here to share and show that we can all get involved. There's something all of us can do. And speaking of things we can do, Christina, also on the same category of saving the Southern residents, what you got for us?
Well, first I'd like to say, Kriss, I really appreciate you a lot, and the things that you say, just ring so true to my heart. How we all cannot live without nature, but nature can live without us, and about giving back. Everyone can give back every single day. With what they do, what they eat, what they wear, how they tend to their yard. I mean, there's so many things that people can do every single day to give back to nature. And I really appreciate that, giving back to nature, because it, like you said, so many people just seem to take and take and take and not give anything back. So I really appreciate that. And yeah, of course, we need to breach the dams. I don't know, for people that are new, the dams basically kill 8 million Chinook salmon every single year, and that's been going on forever. I mean, I've been working on this for about 10 years, and I get frustrated like you. It's like, I've been doing this for so long, I feel like I'm just beating my head up into a wall. But I really believe that the time is now, and it's really going to happen this year. All that we're doing, is not unnoticed by the Biden administration. And we're still collecting cards. We're still making calls. We're still doing everything. You can go to Damn Truth, and there's a lot of petitions there. We have a campaign going on, calling the Biden administration on Tuesdays, Breach Tuesdays. That's a thing that's been going on for about a month now, and none of that is going unnoticed either. So we just have to make sure that we don't stop. We have to continue, and our voices need to be louder, not rude, but louder, and the more you can. And even if you have written, you can still write again. It's okay. And you can go to another, petition and do it again. Just because you've done it once, that doesn't mean anything. You can continue to do that. You can get your family to do it. You can get your friends to do it. You can get your neighbors to do it. You can go out and just talk to people, because that's like a really good way to, because a lot of people just don't know. They don't know how many salmon are being destroyed every year by these dams. They don't know that last year in August, the dams were registering at the highest temps ever. And that's like not okay. We have to get these dams breached this year. And it's really a good time right now, because they won't be able to breach them until like December. So right now is the best time to be pushing the Biden administration and going to all of the sites that I did send to Annette about breaching Tuesdays. We got a number, and let me see. Didn't I send that one to you, Annette?
I have it up from last time. It's there at the bottom of the screen. So it's the phone numbers there, and also you can do the contact comment. You can write a comment, or you can call directly 202-456-1111.
Great. Yep. And that's on Tuesdays. And you can do that every Tuesday and get as many people as you can to do that on Tuesdays. Keep writing your postcards. The Idaho River Keeper, they have a petition that you can go on and sign. That's anytime. You can just go ahead and do that. Forward it to as many people as you possibly can. And just keep it up. Just like Deb, thank you. Howard, thank you. They did their promo with Deb Ellers the other day, and that was awesome. It's like all of that, every bit of that is so important. Everything you do, every person that you can contact, even if it's just a mental, image that they see you holding the sign saying breach the dams, all of that really, really matters. And we really just need to continue doing that until they're down. I mean, obviously, just until they're down, because we must. It will also, just like Kriss talks about, it's all connected. It's like it will cool down the Salish Sea. It will start nourishing the trees. We will have less forest fires. It's all connected. So it's so important to all of our survival, really, that we breach these dams, and doing your part every day. Also, not using chemicals, buying things that are organic, because all of that stuff ends up in our water. So all of that is really important. Not spraying chemicals on your yard. Just little things like that you can do every single day. It really matters. And I just really appreciate what you're doing, Kriss. It's awesome. And the rights of nature is like so important, and it is happening. It's a trend. It's happening in New Zealand. I mean, so it's awesome, and I have so much gratitude. So thank you. And I'm sure I missed something that I was supposed to say about the dams, but I think you guys got the point.
We'll definitely keep talking about it, because you know what I just love, and I just have to point this out, is the passion from the people here on this. I mean, every single one of you, when you're talking about what you're talking about, you just feel that passion. There's a lot, and there's a lot that people can do. And I know sometimes it seems overwhelming, like, there's all this stuff they're talking to me about. So I think what I'm going to do this evening or tomorrow morning is I will put together a post with all the different links, so that you guys can go through these at your own pace and see what actions you can take, see what you can do. Because it does seem like a lot, and there is a lot that you can do. But I don't want it to feel overwhelming for anyone. So we'll put together a sheet with all the links, because there's so much that you guys can do. There's a quick first I want to show you something cool, since Christina mentioned it, that Howard and Deborah were hanging out. Was it yesterday, you guys, that you were hanging out?
Day before.
Day before yesterday. Okay, so let me see if I can do this in a way to share this with you guys. But look at these guys. All right, there they are. There they are. We have Allers. There they are. Okay, here we go. There's Howard. You guys seeing that? Because it's
Reach now.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is the world famous North Olympic Pod, joining us in Central Whidbey Island. Woo!
Just love
This
you
was
guys.
my hat. Reach him now.
That's a great hat. That's a great hat. I know we showed this intro trailer actually last time, Kriss, when you were on, but I want to show it again, and then, because it's getting towards the end of the show, but I want people to really go watch this. I mean, so this is just a trailer.
Before you do that, can I just mention something?
Yes, of course.
So the wildlife commissioners in Washington State were saying on Thursday night that they haven't really done a lot about breaching, whereas their colleagues in Oregon have. They've spoken out. Next week, the commissioners are going to be in Seattle, and if anybody's in the area, I've put it in our chat. Annette, if maybe you could throw that in the other one. Place it in the other one, paste it. It would be really important for them to hear from us. We know that we need to go to Biden. Biden needs to make this happen. But if we can get the commissioners on board to hear what we're saying, they could put more pressure on Inslee and Murray to hopefully everybody will just, discuss this and it'll be done. So please, if you're in the Seattle area, they say that it's like the first time they're going to be there in forever. And they want to see people. It's not just, the virtual or sending an email. So if you're in the area, please go sign up to give them some information, testify in front of them, share your testimony, speak out, if you would please, to get these dams breached. Thank you.
That's awesome. Thanks, Kriss. And Deb Cruz is faster than me, so she already put the link up in the chat for people. I do want to say this for those of you watching on YouTube, if you because a lot of these direct links are going in through Facebook. Send me a message and I will make sure I get these links to you if you would like them sent to you directly, either through email or through YouTube. It's just how the stream works is you're not able to click on them from YouTube. So I want to make sure you know that you're included and can be included. This is the rights of nature. I want to show this. Kriss, you sent this to me last time and I watched it right after, and I hope more people do. So let me share this real quick. All right, here we go.
And sophistication of nature. Yet, without me needing to understand everything, the world exists. The land is not real estate. You own real estate. That there is land and nature, and nobody owns that. This idea of time. My brain can stretch back 30 years. The land's millions. And I get to be connected to that.
Since the dawn of the Industrial Revolution, humans have viewed nature as a resource from which to extract commodities: fish, energy, minerals, timber. Nature is also seen as a place to dispose of waste, often without considering the impacts it may have on the human condition, whose lives depend on a healthy ecosystem. Today, these environmental challenges continue, but a new idea, pulled from ancient indigenous practice, may provide the earth with a rights-based solution.
You are the child, and that land out there, that earth mother of yours, is your parent. No human owns your mother.
Thank you for sharing that, and thank you for putting the quotes up. Thank you. I put the link in for the full documentary if you can do that.
Perfect. We will get that up. We want everyone to be able to watch that. It's definitely worth the watch. A lot of information today, you guys. Thank you for hanging in there. And again, there's going to be a lot of links. So we'll probably just get together, Christina and I, maybe I just volunteered you to help me. And we'll get a post up with all the links, including the videos, the YouTube movies for everyone to watch. Dr. Kriss, every time you're on, the time goes by really, really fast. And so I can't believe it's already been 6 months. So let's not do that. Let's maybe have you back on in a couple months and or a month or so just to follow up and see how everything's going. Does that sound okay with you?
Yes, it's such a pleasure. And again, I'm so grateful for all of you. So thank you for this time.
Thank you so much for being with us. Let's go ahead and any final words for closeout, Elliot?
Yeah, I think it's just great us coming together and just everybody around the world, right? Because we're protecting, the whales in New Zealand. I know Ray Wayne's down there, East Coast, Suzanne, everybody out there. So it's just all of us coming together and putting that positive vibe out there that's going to make the change.
Awesome. Thanks, Elliot. Casey, Stephanie?
I would just like to say thank you for all that you do. Dr. Kriss, Elliot, wow. This is stuff I didn't know about. So this is awesome. Good educational, good thing to know about. So thank you so much.
Really awesome. Thanks for hanging with us today, you guys. Deborah?
I'm in the same ballpark. Every time I listen to Dr. Kriss, it reminds me of why I do what I've been doing for so long. And to share with everybody real quick, it really is true that if you take that grief and that feeling of heartbreak for everything that is, and you put that into action, for me, it is the only way that I deal with the grief, is at least you're doing a little bit of something, and it does help with the pain. It really, really does. And somehow the spirit of the land, the spirit of the water, they know what you're doing. And I think we all need to remember too that every great, incredible movement probably always seemed impossible until it was done. So it will be done. Thank you, people. You're great.
Thanks, Deborah. And speaking of things that will be done, we do know who's coming home soon, right, everybody? Oh, see, I always do this. I try to get everyone riled up, and then everyone's muted, so I can't hear anyone be happy. But Sk'aliCh'elh-tenaut is on her journey home, and we'll continue to meet each and every week for that. I just want to remind people this is an educational show. It wouldn't be educational without Howard, our Professor Howard, and these wonderful guests like Dr. Kriss and all the wonderful people that have come on to keep us engaged, keep us motivated, keep us together, keep us on a movement, all for good for her and for her family, and for all of nature today. So thank you. Christina, any final words from you?
What you said, Deb, is exactly true. You know, when you feel depressed or when you have grief, turn that grief into action, because it really makes a difference, and you can make a difference every single day and with what you do. So thank you, Kriss, and everyone else on the screen. And then Deb Cruz, did you put that up on the screen about how the Biden administration cutoff was July 3rd? Okay, so that's a good thing to mention, that we need to get those letters and those calls in like in the next 2 weeks. Yep. So please keep going. Thank you.
Let's get on it. Thanks for the deadline, Deb Cruz, and we'll make sure we keep pushing that. Deb Cruz, anything you want to say to close us out today?
It always makes me want to cry, and Scotty stands there and says, "Captain, there be whales on board."
Love it. Love it, Deb Cruz. And Howard.
Informative and rich for me, engaging of my feelings, and I've learned a new word, griefitude. It's wonderful. Those two polarities are just all so important, so real to me. You know, grief is your outpouring of your emotion, your connection, your beliefs. And gratitude is so important to be how you look at the world all the time, grateful for every second of life. It's just a beautiful concept. And you could hyphenate it and say joy, because grief and gratitude lead to joy. And that's also what we need. So love it. Learned a lot today.
Thank you. And I see Peggy Oki making a comment. Peggy, I just emailed you today or texted you. I don't know. I did something. I tried to get a hold of you. Peggy is someone who also has a lot of actions going on all the time. So Peggy, whatever you got, send me the links and we'll get those included into this one big post that we're doing. And Alejandro, what you got for us, Alejandro?
Thank you for this amazing information. It was very educational. Thank you, Dr. Kriss, Elliot, Christine, Deborah, Deb Cruz, everybody who is fighting for the Southern Resident Orcas and for the legal right of the Salish Sea. I didn't know about this information that was shared by Christine, that we are the orcas are not getting 8 million of Chinese salmon because of the dams. So we need to breach the dams as soon as possible. What I can feel is with the TokiTV release, many politicians they are going to get involved on this, and this is going to be quick. That's my feeling, you know. My last final words is: don't forget to buy the tumbler and now a hat. Okay, so
You're so
I'm gonna close with this. Okay,
that sounds really good.
Listen, and just follow the only process and the true process for TokiTV's release. Follow cyclicit.org, orcanetwork.org, and the Whale Sanctuary Project. All the information, all these organizations are working and are the only ones who are getting involved with the TokiTV's release with Sk'aliCh'elh-tenaut. That's it. Thank you, everyone.
And Deb Cruz did put up the link that Alejandro's talking about for the Etsy shop. I just want to make sure everyone knows we're not collecting any money. We're not, doing anything like that. 100% of these proceeds are going to the GoFundMe set up for her through Sacred Sea. So 100%. And again, that's thank you to Casey and your efforts and your hard work and your time.
And Casey, when is the cutoff for it? Sorry, guys, because there's a cutoff for it.
Wednesday, because I am going on vacation and I'm not taking stuff with me.
Sorry to interrupt, but I forgot she asked me to do that. And so
okay. So there's a deadline. But just a deadline for a little while, right? And then
a couple weeks.
Okay, all right. So a deadline for a couple weeks. If you guys want something soon, you better get that in, and you probably do because Alejandro's going to keep reminding you to get your tumbler. So if you don't have your tumbler, get your tumbler, your hat.
I keep an eye on everyone.
You're so really great.
Because it's not for me, it's for TokiTV, you know. I don't want anything. That's why I insist. And follow Sacred Sea, that's all. Don't waste your time somewhere else, you know.
No, and I really appreciate that because Alejandro says that every week, every Thursday, every Sunday, but it's true. This is the one true process. Friends at Toki is doing the work. They're working very hard. They're making progress every single day. No, they're not going to blast it out there for everyone, but they are busy and they are doing the work, and wonderful things are happening. And this journey, her journey home, is happening. So just thank you guys for continuing to remain faithful, hanging out with us. We'll keep you educated as best we can. Howard, did I give you final words already?
Oh yeah. I'm out.
No, Howard, you need to say follow Alejandro Dintino. Follow Alejandro Dintino.
Oh, okay. Follow Alejandro.
Yes,
everywhere.
And absolute final words we're going to give to you, Dr. Kriss. Is there anything you would like to leave us all with today?
I just hope that people can share their love with one another every day, every moment, and be grateful for the time that we have together, because life is very short and our time is very precious. So just as a reminder. So thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You guys have a wonderful week.
She is well, she is whole, she is home. She is well, she is whole, she is home. She is well, she is whole, she is home. Where she belongs. She is well, she is whole, she is home. She is well, she is whole, she is home. She is well, she is whole, she is home. Where she belongs. Where she belongs. Miles and miles of open ocean now before her. She is swimming to her family. Soon she will be greeted sweet, sweet home. She is home, where she belongs. She is well, she is whole, she is home. She is well, she is whole, she is home. She is well, she is whole, she is home, where she belongs, where she belongs. Years and years of waiting, there was no escaping, but now she has hope. All our hands are working to stop her heart from hurting. Now we can affirm and know that she is home, where she belongs. She is well, she is whole, she is home. She is well, she is whole, she is home. She is well, she is whole, she is home, where she belongs, where she belongs. She